Okay, we're going to do a quick rundown of my personal first aid kit. For this one, I've used Maxpedition Pocket Fatty, I think it's called. It's got a Maxpedition First Aid patch on the front here. This is just a general overview of what I like to keep in here. It can be lots of changes. This is just the things that I find on a first aid kit. This kit is something, it's not a medical kit, it's just a first aid kit, so it's going to be things that you're going to have on hand to offer first aid where you're going to be able to get to a hospital or a clinic or something to have more advanced help if needed. This will just get you through in the beginning. Okay, so and I'll as we go, I'll tell you my reasons for certain things. All right, so when you first open it up, I got a lot of stuff in here. First thing to come to is I have a ABD surgical pad. This is folded over 3 times, so it's about that wide when it comes out. It's really good to have a couple of these on hand. They're really good for soaking up any blood or covering a large wound. So always good to have 1 or 2 of these. I've got another one stuck in the back here. So I always recommend some sort of large dressing. A couple tools up front. Just got a nail clipper. I use the big toenail clipper. You can use it for nails or cutting any type of string or anything like that. Got a couple hemostats. You don't have to have 2. I just happen to have some extra space in here, so I threw 2. I got a small one and a big one. Good for anything you'd use tweezers for, that kind of stuff. Just something good to have on hand, but not necessary. As far as tools go, also, I have a Leatherman Micra. The reason I put this one in here is because of the scissors. So if you need to cut down a dressing or some tape or gauze or something, you have a good set of tweezers or scissors. This comes with tweezers, which is pretty good too to have on hand. You don't have to use the Leatherman Micra. Any number of them would work. I put this one in this kit. I've got other kits that I've put like a Leatherman Squirt, which has pliers and scissors. Just as long as you have scissors. Or I got a Gerber Dime here. That one would work too. It's got your scissors here, and it's also got pliers. So either one will work. They're all about the same size. I just happened to put the Micra in this one, but any small multi-tool is a good thing to have just on hand, especially for the scissors or the tweezers. I got a little flashlight. This is a Phoenix EO5. It runs on 1 AAA battery. It's got a twist UI, 1 mode. It's a good little flashlight. Something that's not too bright, but does the job in a pinch. Like I said, with flashlights, could be anything. My other favorite's the Quark Mini 123, which uses the CR123 battery. This would be a good one to put in here too, but just happened to be that I chose the Phoenix EO5 for this particular kit. Got a roll of tape, good for putting on dressings or whatnot. Got a couple, I think this is 2 pair just nitrile gloves, but any gloves will do. Got a tube of triple antibiotic ointment. This is not something you need, but good to have on hand if you got the little extra space. Over here I got 2 gauze dressings that you could wrap around if you have a large wound on your hand or whatnot. Also something sterile to keep everything clean. We got some alcohol pads. These are good for cleaning up any type of surface you have, or maybe cleaning out minor cuts and scrapes. So just something good to have on hand. Let's see. Now, as far as Band-Aids go, most first aid kits you'll see that are packaged in stores will have like 100 different sizes of Band-Aid. My philosophy is you really only need 1 size of Band-Aid. And this one I actually have 2. They're pretty much the same size though. They just happen to be the cloth type Band-Aid, you know, just general size. This is a good size to have on hand. If it's smaller than this, you can still use this. If it's bigger than this, you can use a 4x4 or an ABD and tape it down. You don't need to have 5,000 different sizes of Band-Aids. Just pick one general size, put that in there, and that's all you need. I probably got more than enough in this kit, but like I said, this is a pretty large kit, so I had plenty of space. In the front pouch here, got a couple things. One thing about this pouch is it's got this little thing here, this little clippy, so you could hang the light off of this. I just chose to slide it in one of these slots, but either way. So in that pouch I've got another one of those big surgical dressings. Those are good to have a couple. And I've got a couple 4x4s. These are like the #1 thing to have in a first aid kit. So these 4x4 gauze dressing. Because if it's bigger than what the Band-Aid can handle, you can use one of these. You can fold it up. You can put it on a wound, tape it down. They're pretty absorbent. And you can also use them for cleaning if you needed to clean out something. Good to have on hand. So the two things I always have is some gauze sponges and the surgical dressings. Those are real important. I also have a couple of these adaptic type non-adherent dressings. They have a Vaseline impregnated. You do not need this in your kit. These are pretty expensive. I had these from one time when I had needed them for a dressing that I had on a large wound when I had a burn. But I just put these in here because they're nice to have on hand, especially if there's something like a burn or something that you don't want anything to stick to. You can put one of these down. They don't soak up very much blood, but they'll keep the other dressings that do soak up blood from sticking. So you can put this down first, put one of those on top. So just something good to have. Not necessary for everybody's kit. I had a couple extras laying around, so I put them in mine. Alright, and lastly, in this back pouch here, I've got... these are butterfly closures. I prefer steri strips to these, but steri strips are a lot more expensive. I think these were less than $2 for a dozen. So it's good if you get a cut. You need to keep it closed. You can put these over your cut. If you had a cut on your hand, you can put these over the cut to keep it closed, and then cover it with the dressing until you got to the hospital where you could actually do some stitches. So I've got a couple of those in there. And these are a couple different sizes of pads. This one is I got 2 of these non-stick pads. These are those ones that are they kind of look like plastic coating on the outside, makes it so it doesn't stick. Just some extra ones there. And I got some smaller gauze pads. These are like 2x2 size, or 3x3, 2x2s. Just some extra gauze pads shoved back in there. You don't have to have all these different sizes. I recommend the 4x4 size is the most versatile because you can, fold it up if you need something smaller. But I got a couple of these extra different sizes. That's all right. And then these, this is just some larger Band-Aids. This is one. I have one big Band-Aid. It's got a dressing size about that big, about maybe 1 inch by 1 inch. And then this one is some bigger ones that have about a 2 or 2.5 by 1.5 inch maybe, and they're waterproof. So this would be something if you had a small cut but you wanted to make a waterproof area around it, keep it covered before you can get help. That'll work too. So just some extra ones to get in. Again, not necessary. You can do anything with the 4x4s that these can do. These have a waterproof coating. And I used to carry lots of different pills. Now I really just carry aspirin. So these are just 2 dozen aspirin in a little baggie. Really cheap. You can get a bottle of this for $1. I don't carry a lot of other pills because they expire, they go bad, and you never get to use them. I used to carry like stuff for diarrhea and all that other stuff, but you really don't need them in your first aid kit. If you have those issues, you can always go to the store and get those, or you can add them to your kit if you think that's something important. I'm looking here at just what do I need to do right now for first aid before we get to the hospital. Aspirin's something good to have on hand, especially if someone's is having a heart attack. You can chew some aspirin, or if they're having pain, give them a couple aspirin, that kind of stuff. And they always work for a hangover. So there's my review, my kit. Oh, and then the front, just a side note, I do have a roll of duct tape right in the front. Not necessary for the kit, but every single one of my first aid kits, for some reason I put a roll of duct tape in for use on anything when camping or whatnot. So there's my review. I really like these Maxpedition kits. I got a bunch of them. I've got all different sizes. I think this fatty is the best for just a general first aid kit. You can get a lot of stuff in there, but you really don't need all of this. You could make yourself something smaller. Even if you just had the abdominal dressings, 4x4s, and a couple Band-Aids, that's a good first aid kit just in the woods. This is a little bit more extensive, and just some of the things that I think are important. This is a good kit for camping, hiking, general use to keep in your car. I have one very similar to this in my car. I keep this one on hand when I go camping. That's what this one's for. And I also have a little smaller version that I carry in my backpack that I take to work and just have on me at all times. It doesn't have all the, hemostats and clipper and the lights and stuff, but a more condensed version. So, all right, so hopefully that helps you.